We asked you to tell us who's left you feeling ripped off. And you contacted us in your thousands by post, email, even stopping us on the streets. And the message couldn't be clearer.
I think there's a lot of hidden information about your bills that should be made a lot more clear.
I don't feel I get treated how I should be.
You've told us with money tighter than ever, you need to be sure that every pound you spend is worth it.
How do I get my money back? Because I just think I'm entitled to it.
So whether it's a deliberate rip-off, a simple mistake, or a catch in the small print, we'll find out why it is that you're out of pocket and what you can do about it.
Keep asking the questions, go to the top if you have to.
We do get results. I mean, that's the interesting thing.
Your stories, your money. This is Rip Off Britain.
Hello and welcome to Rip Off Britain, the programme that's always ready to fight your corner, even though it might seem that no one else will. And today, we're going to be taking on an industry that every year, without fail, according to our mailbag, is one of your biggest bugbears.
We're talking about insurance, a topic that upsets you more than just about anything else. Because whether it's a claim on your home or your holiday, it seems there are no end of reasons why your policy won't pay out.
Now, sometimes that's because you've been caught out by the small print, or indeed the terms of your cover simply aren't clear enough. On other occasions, perhaps the company's just messed up. But whatever the explanation, when you need help but your claim is turned down, the consequences can be absolutely devastating.
Later in the programme, we'll meet a family who know that only too well. On top of everything else they've been through, they now face losing their home.
Without the insurance payout, I can't afford to keep the house because I can't afford the mortgage payments.
And the man who took on his insurers and won after they deemed that even though he was bedbound in hospital, he was still able to work.
As one expert said to me, medical expert, you'd have to be in a coma or dead to get a payout.
Now, it's bad enough that insurance companies expect us to have read every bit of small print that's in their policies, but sometimes it seems they expect you to read between the lines and work out what's not included. For the couple we're about to meet, the thing they weren't covered for couldn't have been more basic.
When Sam Wyatt and his wife Kim planned a second honeymoon, they decided to do it in style. They plumped for a cruise, starting and finishing in Miami and flying to and from there from Heathrow via New York.
We went on a cruise 4 years ago for our honeymoon, and we could only afford a week back then. So we decided to go for 2 weeks this time.
So October 2011, we saved up, we went for 2 weeks, flew out to Miami and sailed around the Caribbean.
And in case anything went wrong, they'd bought travel insurance. Sam had done his research and chosen the Super Saver policy from Holiday Extras. At £32, it wasn't the cheapest quote they'd seen, but at first glance it seemed to cover most eventualities, such as flight cancellation or lost baggage. Of course, they hoped they wouldn't need it, and right until the end, the trip was all that they'd hoped for.
Oh, the cruise was lovely. It was really nice. It was even better than when we went the first time. We did lots of nice things, did some water sports, that was really fun.
Had a great time.
The couple arrived at Miami Airport for the first leg of their flight home. But 1,000 miles away in New York, a heavy snowstorm was causing chaos.
It's only the fourth time in 135 years that snow has fallen in New York's Central Park in October.
Sam and Kim's flight was grounded. They were stuck in Miami, but their luggage was already on its way to the UK.
It was a bit of a nightmare, really. We had no bags, we had no clothes.
We had no nothing.
We had no money.
The couple were told by the airline to check into a hotel and come back 2 days later. Frustrating as that was, they were confident that thanks to their insurance, they didn't have to worry about the extra costs for accommodation and living expenses.
We thought we were covered for everything, so even though we might have to pay out for extra nights, hotel stays and things like that, we thought we'd be able to claim when we got home.
When the couple arrived home 3 days later than scheduled, they immediately put in a claim with Holiday Extras for the money they'd spent, £280.46.
I was confident we'd bought the right cover. We just filled out the forms and sent them off, and I thought that's the end of it. We'll get a cheque in the post.
But a month later, with their tans and their holiday memories fading, the couple got a letter from Holiday Extras to say they wouldn't be getting any of their money back.
I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. It just seemed that it was just one big rip-off.
Horrible end to the holiday, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I just couldn't believe that they could wriggle out of paying the claim.
It seemed their Super Saver policy wasn't so super after all, because it didn't cover something most people would consider a vital part of their holiday, the entire return journey. Apart from cases of medical emergency, their policy didn't protect them for that leg of the trip. Sam immediately rang Holiday Extras, and when you hear this recording of the call, you'll see why he found their explanation so surprising.
What's it say? If severe weather prevents you from making your outward journey.
Outward from the UK.
Where does it say that doesn't cover the inward?
It doesn't specifically say that it doesn't cover the inward, but it only states that it only states they will cover you for the outward journey from the UK.
How would you possibly know that it wouldn't cover you for an inward journey if it doesn't actually say it?
It's the way you interpret things, really.
Yes, you heard it right. It's not just what your policy says that matters, it's how you interpret what it doesn't say.
No one wanted to take responsibility for what had happened. They wanted to shift it onto me. Oh, it's my fault. It's my fault I bought the wrong cover. I should have read the policy wordings and interpreted every single word. It was my fault. I didn't have the cover I thought I had.
With his complaint at a standstill, Sam contacted the airline direct. They agreed to give them £178 towards their expenses as a goodwill gesture. But that still leaves the couple out of pocket by more than £100, and they're angry that it wasn't their insurance policy that paid out.
We paid up for travel insurance. They should have paid the claim.
Even without the extra hurdle of reading between the lines, Sam and Kim feel that the 14-page policy document they had to wade through wasn't easy to understand.
It's a very lengthy document, and I think it's unrealistic to assume that any ordinary person that purchases a policy like that is going to actually sit down and read all of the small print.
But Holiday Extras don't agree. The underwriter for their insurance told us that the couple's flights were delayed rather than cancelled, and that Sam had bought their most basic policy for long-haul travel. They say, the wording clearly states what cover is available on this policy. But with such a wide choice of cover available, it's paramount that travellers thoroughly read their documentation. They appreciate policy documents contain a huge amount of information, but carefully reading the document is the only way to ensure that cover is suitable for your needs. Sam and Kim have learned the hard way that your travel insurance may not cover you in the way you expect.
You just think, well, next time we go on holiday, perhaps we won't bother, you know, looking into holiday insurance if this is what happens.
Well, for something that seems so simple, buying holiday insurance can be fraught with pitfalls. Here's travel expert Simon Calder with advice on how to avoid being caught out.
When you're booking a holiday, of course, it makes sense to book insurance at the same time. But beware, some really obvious things that you might assume are covered may not be. What could be better than a fly-drive holiday? Very popular way to get around. And many travel insurance policies cover thefts from cars. But be careful, some of them only apply between 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening. Life begins at 50 these days for so many people, but not if you're planning an extended trip. Would you believe that higher premiums kick in as soon as you're a day over 50? Finally, a couple of positive clauses that will actually benefit you. Columbus says if you're heading for Australia, then your policy will cover you for walking up the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I've tried it, it's very scary. And hole-in-one insurance covers you for that unlikely golfing event for all the drinks you'll need to buy in the clubhouse at the 19th hole.